Hey trombone players, Mr. Lenz here. Congratulations on your first band lesson. It was tons of fun hearing you make your first sounds on the instrument. I want to provide a few resources for you as you practice this week so you can make sure you're practicing all of the right things in preparation for our next lesson. So first of all, how do we put the instrument together? It's kind of easy to forget, so I'll just review here. You're going to take the slide portion and the bell portion and put these together. And the part where they connect is the section that's higher on the slide portion there and with the thread. So that tells you which way to put it together. I like putting it together so it's flat like this, straight across, and then making a 90-degree angle. You're going to make sure that the bell is on the left ear side there, so on the left side of your head. And then you're going to screw the nut over the threads there. So it should look like this when put together. And then the mouthpiece, just set it in there and gently push and twist, and there you go, you're set to play trombone. The slide lock mechanism comes over so that slide can't fly out on you when you're not paying attention or you're not looking. And so have that on all the time when you're not playing, and then when you go to play, just make sure that you flip that off so your slide can move. Now as we go to make our first notes, we want to make sure that we warm up properly. A great way to warm up at this stage is just to buzz on your mouthpiece for about 30 seconds. And it's going to sound like this. Why don't you go and try that with me? So when you're doing that in your own practice, you're going to start off each practice session with buzzing for about 30 seconds on just the mouthpiece. And then put it back in your horn, and we'll start on our first note that we're going to be playing. We learned this in your lesson, which is going to be D, and that's in fourth position. Just a reminder that fourth position is where the tip of the gold part here is about even with the bell. So that's a good way to check to make sure you're in the right place for your slide position. We're going to put the horn up to our face. Make sure that as you're holding the slide, it's just with these 3 fingers here on the slide, and then your thumb comes through here and then around into the rectangle hole there to grab through the horn. So it should look like this with your left hand and your right hand. Let's go ahead and play together on our D, fourth position. I'm going to actually play it for you first. Go ahead and listen to it, and then we'll play together. That's what that D sounds like. Go ahead and get your horn up and ready, and let's try it together. D, fourth position, playing together. Here we go. There you go. Good work there. So making sure that your sound blends into my sound there as well. Notice that I'm breathing in through my mouth every time before I play, not my nose. You can get a lot more air in and a better sound when you do that. So when you go to play, this is how you should breathe and start each note. The next thing we're going to do with that note is to put it into the song with number 1. We have whole notes, which get 4 counts each, and whole rest, which get 4 counts each. So you're going to be tapping your foot and counting along through each of those notes. So 4 counts on each of those whole notes and 4 counts on the whole rest. When we go to start each note, we want to make sure that we're starting each note with a 2 tongue. So every note starts from the tip of our tongue, like this. Go ahead and try that with me. Here we go. Sometimes people try to make the tonguing sound by just pulsing their air, like that, or by pursing their lips going pa, 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 pa. Both of those things will cause you major problems down the road. So make sure you're not doing those. Make sure you're starting each note with a clear 2, 2, 2 on each note. You can practice that with that first note, just going. If you would like to just practice your tonguing. But let's apply that to number 1 as we play together. I'm going to put on the metronome click here. So we have a steady pulse to play with, and I recommend that you practice with a metronome as well. Here we go. Number 1 together, getting that horn up in fourth position, making sure we're counting carefully, tapping our foot for 4 beats on each note. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Rest. 2, 3. Rest. 2, 3, 4. Rest. 2, 3, 4. Good work there. If you have not purchased a metronome tuner, I recommend doing so. What's nice is it'll provide a steady click for you, and it'll also tell you if you're playing the right note or not. So it will say D on the screen of the tuner if you're playing a D. So that's kind of handy to know if you're on the right note or not. The next note that you're going to be playing in your lesson book is your C. Now C is 6th position, and for most of you it's probably about as long as your arm is, but it's just a little ways out from D, and it looks about like this. I'll go ahead and play it for you once, and then you can try and play along with me. So let's try and play that C together. Go ahead and get your horn up and find that 6th position out there, just a little ways out from 4th position, which was where we just were. So here we go, 6th position, playing our C. Nice full breath through your mouth, starting with a 2 tone. Here we go. Nice work. And you can apply that note in time, just like we did for number 1, but moving on to number 2 with your C. Then you'll combine those 2 notes on number 3, but we're going to jump down the page, or I'm sorry, on number 4, but we're going to jump down the page on to the B flat, and that's going to be in 1st position, and it's the lowest note of them all. So the B flat is 1st position, and it's going to sound like this. You want to make sure to maintain a nice open mouth. If you say ah, that's the kind of mouth shape you should have when you're playing that low, the lower notes on the trombone there. So if you would, try that with me. 1st position, here we go. Let's try it together. B flat. Good work. If you're having a hard time getting your notes low enough, if they're coming out too high, just make sure that you have enough space between your teeth, about that much space, and that you're keeping an ah shape in your mouth. If you say ah, and blow that kind of big air, that'll help you get that big sound through the instrument. The other thing is to make sure to practice with that, with a lot of air through the horn to get that big sound. You'll know if you're not getting enough air through the horn because it'll sound kind of funny, like kind of pinched and kind of a small sound. So we want that big breath and a big sound when we're playing. So work on those things when you're playing. Make sure you're taking a big mouth breath when you play each time, starting each note with a 2 tongue and playing along with a metronome click while you're playing through those whole notes. Now here's a little bonus surprise for you when you're practicing. This is a lot of fun to do and working on moving our air and getting a big, monstrous, low brass sound when we're playing. This is one of my favorite exercises to do, and only trombone players get to do it. It's called the Gliss. So you're going to start with your arm out as far as it goes, and you're going to go clear up the horn as loud as you can do it, and it's going to sound like this. And you can do that on 3 different shelves. Go ahead and try that once on your own. You can press pause on the video if you'd like. Now that you've tried it on your own, let's try the one that goes up a little higher. So those are some great things to do, those glisses. It helps you get all the notes on the horn. It gets you used to playing that big sound with a big air. I recommend practicing those at the beginning and the end of your practice just to make sure you're putting lots of air through the horn. Remember that practicing every single day is so important to improving on the trombone. So I tell students every day that you eat, you should be playing your trombone. I can't wait to see you at your next lesson and see how much you've improved. Keep working hard.